Hi everyone, we are Group 8 from BSCE-1C.
For our introduction, it is addictive that turns into a habit and then takes over your life. How long do you think you'll live? Smoking cigarette is like a smoking pistol. Smokers have already been shot. Cigarette smoke is a complex mixture of chemical compounds, some of which are bound to aerosol particles and others that are free in the gas phase. Tobacco has been used for thousands of years, dating back to the early Americas. Tobacco chemical compounds can either be distilled into smoke or react to form other constituents that can then be distilled into smoke. According to Fowles and Dybing, 2003 proposed a method for identifying the chemical components of tobacco smoke that have the highest potential for toxic effects. They took into account the risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and heart disease. The effects of a single cigarette on human lungs are demonstrated in this experiment. The cigarette burns down as the water spurs out, and the cigarette smoke entered the plastic bottle, which represent the part of our lungs is inhaling the smoke. Cigarette smoke pollutes our lungs, causing them to change color and cause harmful diseases. This is how our experiments appear. The cotton represents the lungs, and this is what the cotton looks like after smoking a single cigarette. Tar is essentially cotton that was previously normal and white but has turned a shade of brown. Tar coats the lungs and prevents them from receiving enough oxygen. We conclude that the presence of even a single cigarette smoke in the lungs is extremely dangerous, and it could cost you your life if you do it on a regular basis. Cigarette smoke contributes to climate change, which has an impact not only on human health but also on the environment. It is addictive that turns into a habit and then takes over your life. How long do you think you'll live? Smoking is associated with a reduction in life expectancy, and smokers began to consider their health after witnessing some of negative health effects of smoking.
The goal of this lab experiment is to show how cigarette smoking affects human lungs, to demonstrate tar accumulation in cotton, to examine the effects of smoking on human lung function and the environment, create an experiment demonstrating the harmful effects of cigarette smoke. So this is how our experiment setup look like.
Procedure 1. Making the experiment bottle. First, prepare all the materials and equipment. Second, make a hole on the lower side of the plastic bottle and its lid using a cutter. 3. Using a cutter, make a small hole in the syringe. 4. Place the syringe in the hole made on the lower side of the plastic bottle and glue it. 5. Place the filter tip of the cigarette in the perforated lid. 6. Fill the plastic bottle with water and screw the lid on the bottle top. Procedure 2. Performing the experiment. Step 1. Light the cigarette using lighter. Step 2. Remove the syringe's plunger to release the water until the cigarette is burned down. As the water pours out, it is going to suck air from the top, and what will come inside the bottle, who will be the white smoke, and you can see it. Step 3. When the cigarette is burned, replace the syringe plunger again. Step 4. Remove the lid of the plastic bottle with cigarette and then take a cotton and tie with a rubber band on the mouth of the bottle. 5. Remove the syringe plunger again and blow out the air. The smoke is expelled from the bottle, and you can see slowly the bottle from being smoky becomes transparent. 6. After blowing out the air, examine the cotton by looking, smelling, and touching. All the smoke has passed from the cotton. When you open the cotton, you will see that the white cotton turns into brown.
This experiment demonstrates the effects of a single cigarette on human lungs. As the water pours out, the cigarette burns down at the same time, and the cigarette smoke enters the plastic bottle. Cigarette smoke pollutes the water, causing it to change color. The cotton represents the lungs, and this is what the cotton looks like after a single cigarette has been smoked. Essentially, the previously normal and white cotton has turned a shade of brown, and it is known as tar. Tar is a sticky substance that can be found on cigarettes. Tar coats the lungs, preventing them from receiving sufficient oxygen. Cigarette smoking pollutes the environment by releasing toxic air pollutants into the atmosphere. Cigarette butts also pollute the environment, and the toxic chemicals in the residues seep into soils and waterways, causing soil and water pollution.
In our experiment, we discovered that the cigarette smokes contributes to climate, which affects not only our human health but also our environment. To prevent this, we must be aware of the effects of cigarettes on our health. We have the freedom to choose what is right and wrong to our lives. As a living person in this world, I can state unequivocally that smoking cigarettes has no good, no benefits, and no advantages. Some people, particularly boys, use cigarettes as a form of relaxation and stress relief. But as a student, smoking cigarettes will not cure the disease that they may have. I'm aware that the government enacted a bill concerning what motivates some people to use cigarettes. If we investigate the negative effects of it, we can learn more lessons about it in order to reduce the use of cigarettes. It triggers your lungs as a whole, and it destroys our future if we rely on cigarettes for a living. As a result, we conclude that it's essential to develop more smoke-free public spaces and raise the price of cigarettes in order to prevent the uptake of smoking among young people or youth. We will reduce morbidity and mortality from smoking in the next 20 years.